I'm Ashlyn.
And I'm Zach.
And this is Sierra, and we're traveling A to Z.
This week we're in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park.
Join us as we take you on some of the park's best scenic drives, stop at cabins, mills, and lookouts, and hike to beautiful waterfalls.
We're currently at Smoky Mountains National Park, which is the most visited national park in the whole United States. It gets around 14 million visitors a year, and we're gonna go explore it.
Our first stop is to the Sugarland's Visitor Center.
The Smoky Mountains National Park is the only free national park, but you do need a parking pass. You can drive through for free, but if you're gonna go and look at things, it's $5 a day or $15 for the week.
You can get the pass outside the Visitor Center.
We're in the Great Smoky Mountains and we're heading towards Cades Cove. We stayed in Gatlinburg last night and it's about an hour drive or so to the start of Cades Cove Loop, which is an 11-mile counterclockwise loop. We're currently at the Sinks. It's a little waterfall off the road and it's on the way to Cades Cove.
Cades Cove Loop is one of the most popular and scenic areas in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. The road is a one-way road and can get very congested, especially in peak seasons. The best time to go is in the early morning or late afternoon to avoid the crowds and to see more wildlife. There are 10 main stops along the Cades Cove Loop, each offering historical sites, scenic views, or hiking opportunities. Our first stop is to John Oliver's cabin, which is one of the oldest structures in the park.
We're gonna go check out the cabin. It's one of the first stops on Cades Cove Loop. 0.2 miles on the dirt path or 0.3 miles on the paved path to the cabin. Oh, look at the big turkey. Oh, he has his feathers up.
Yum.
Look at him puff himself out.
Yum, turkey.
You love turkey.
Yum.
So this is John Oliver's cabin. We're gonna go check it out. It was built in 1818 in Cades Cove, one of the first cabins here. So the John Oliver cabin is one of the oldest structures in the Smoky Mountain National Park. Wake up to that. Look at that view. On this cabin hike, we saw multiple turkeys and now some deer. Little white-tailed deer.
Our second stop is to the Primitive Baptist Church.
We're turning left to go down to see the Baptist Church. There are 3 churches in Cades Cove. I'm currently in Cades Cove Primitive Baptist Church, established in 1827. Aw, and they have a little cemetery back here.
Our third stop is to the Methodist Church.
This is our second church. This is the Methodist Church. And it's really close to the other church.
This church was built in 1902 with 2 doors, a design used to separate men and women during services. Our fourth stop is to the Missionary Baptist Church. This church was founded in 1839 after a split from the Primitive Baptist Church.
This is the third church, which is the Missionary Baptist Church. They said this is the most stylish church. And I could see that. It's really nicely done and big windows.
As you're driving, there are some pullouts, and you can look at this gorgeous piece of land.
So behind me is Cades Cove. They also used this for farming a long time ago.
Our fifth stop is to Elijah Oliver's place.
We're heading to Elijah Oliver's place, which is the son of John Oliver, and he built a cabin and barn and a whole bunch of other buildings out here. It's about a mile round trip from the parking lot to see this cabin. Here's his barn.
We're walking and we're walking and we're gonna go see a cabin, aren't we?
A little fireplace. A nice little relaxing place to live, huh? Pretty area.
We're now heading to our sixth stop, which is Cades Cove Visitor Center in Cable Mill.
The Cable Mill has some bathrooms and there you have some refreshments in the visitor center. Visitor center is open at 9 a.m.
On this site, they have the historic water-powered grist mill that was built in the 1870s. This working mill is one of the few remaining operational grist mills in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park.
This is Cable Mill. It's the only thing that's actually original still on this property. The rest was brought here.
There are other historic buildings that are on this site that give a glimpse into the 19th century Appalachian life. These buildings were relocated from different parts of Cades Cove to preserve the history of the early settlers. On this site, they have a family cabin. They have a large barn with an overhanging upper level designed to shelter livestock and store hay. This type of barn was very common in the Smoky Mountains. They also had a smokehouse and a blacksmith shop. Our seventh stop is to Dan Larson's cabin.
This is Dan Lawson's place. It is the only cabin in the park that has a brick chimney. It was built in the 1920s. He wanted to do something a little different.
Our eighth stop is to Tipton's Place. Tipton's Place features a large two-story home and a double cantilever barn common in the region.
This is Tipton Cabin, and there is their barn way over there. This is not original. It was built about a decade ago, but it's supposed to be a replica, like an exact replica of what it used to look like. Fireplace.
Our ninth stop is to Valley View.
This is a gorgeous view of Cades Cove. You could see behind me, it's kind of a flat section. A lot of times there'll be deer that you could spot in here, sometimes even bear. We saw turkeys earlier. Just finished the loop. I would say it took us about 3 hours, but we made lots of stops and hiked to quite a few of the cabins and spent time at the mill. They say it could take about an hour drive if you're just driving and not really stopping. If it's really busy, which happens pretty much every day, it could take up to 3 hours just driving. So we left around 7 in the morning and started the loop drive right at sunrise. That was the way to go. We had it almost all to ourselves. We didn't have a lot of traffic. We had no problems finding parking.
Just past the loop, there's Cades Cove Campground.
There's a nice little campground, and they have a little store that has ice cream, souvenirs, and vending machines. They also have a restroom if you need it. It's really close to the start, or I guess I should say the end of the loop. Off the side of the road is Mixed Falls. You can't get to it, but you can see it from the roadside. It's a really nice little waterfall.
Our next stop is to go hike Laurel Falls.
We're hiking to Laurel Falls, which is 2.4 miles round trip, about 423-foot elevation gain to get to this falls. Whew. I'm definitely breathing a little hard, but it's not too bad. It's about a 7% grade, and it's not that far. But at the end, you should have a gorgeous 80-foot waterfall. It's supposed to be one of the most popular hikes in the park. Are we hiking up Laurel Falls?
Yes, we are. We're hiking up the falls with a little pink bear.
And we're almost there. We rounded the bend at about a mile, and you can see the river now. Oh, we're getting close. We made it to Laurel Falls.
Yay!
The Laurel Falls is an 80-foot waterfall. It's a beautiful hike. It's really nice. So Laurel Falls, there's a bridge that goes across and you can walk across it and get pictures. Right now it wasn't too busy, but it definitely gets busy. It's one of the busiest hikes. We just finished the Laurel Falls trail. It's a nice trail. It's asphalt the whole way, but the asphalt is like broken up in certain places, so you have to watch your step, but it is a nice trail the whole way up.
Our next stop is to Newfound Gap. When driving Newfound Gap Road, we stopped at a lot of the overlooks to take a look at the gorgeous views.
Down below is the city of Gatlinburg. We're at Carlos Campbell Overlook. See all the clouds? It looks like smoke. That's how the Smoky Mountains got its name, because there's always kind of like a smoky, cloudy, foggy layer at the higher elevation. This is Ben Morton Overlook. This is the second turnout, and it's beautiful. We made it to Newfound Gap. So the Appalachian Trail passes here. We're gonna step on it. Now we can say we've been on the Appalachian Trail. Appalachian Trail. Woohoo! And yes, that is snow. The Appalachian Trail. We made it.
In the snow.
In the snow. We made it to the North Carolina and Tennessee state line. We're currently at 5,046 feet above sea level.
Our next stop is to Clingmans Dome.
We made it to Clingmans Dome. It is snowing, it's foggy, you can't see anything, so we're gonna maybe try again tomorrow. It's supposed to be the best view in the whole park, and you're supposed to be able to see 7 states if it's clear. Right now, you can barely see like 50 feet in front of you. It's pretty windy right now. During the winter, they do close this all the way to the beginning of April, and right now it's open, but it is snowing. So this is what it looks like, the observation tower. Okay, maybe try again tomorrow. It is slick as snot out here. It is so icy and snowy and slick, so be careful if you come when it's snowy. We made it back again to Clingmans Dome, and you could see today, it is gorgeous. You can even see the lake, beautiful views. Oh, really, really pretty up here. What are we hiking, baby girl?
We're hiking to Clingmans Dome.
Clingmans Dome is the tallest point in Tennessee at 6,643 feet above sea level. It's the tallest point on the Appalachian Trail in Tennessee. Hike from the parking lot to Clingmans Dome is half a mile, and you hike 330 feet up. You can still see some remnants of the snowstorm from yesterday. No, don't throw it at me! We made it to the Appalachian Trail!
Yay!
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 This is
Yay!
the tallest mountain on the Tennessee Appalachian Trail
Yay!
at 6,643 feet. We went 0.45 of a mile, and it flattened out now at about 300 feet elevation grade. And I think we're almost there. Oh, there's the dome, the flying saucer. Climbing the dome.
The observation tower is circular and 45 foot tall, with a ramp that leads to a 360-degree viewing platform.
We made it to the top of the dome, and you could see 7 states from up here. It's so beautiful.
On a clear day, you could see about 100 miles of visibility. You could see Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Kentucky, Virginia, and Alabama. Today, we're driving the Roaring Fork Motor Nature Trail. We're currently driving the Roaring Fork Nature Trail. It's about a 5.5 mile loop. Pretty much starts in Gatlinburg and loops around. This road is a narrow, winding road that is one way, but it is closed during the winter. On this road, there's historic homesteads and cabins, beautiful mountain streams, dense forests, waterfalls, and the opportunity to see a lot of different animals. Our first stop on the loop is to Bud Ogle's farm.
We're heading to Ogle's farm. This is a cabin, and it had running water. It was the only cabin that had running water in the park, and it had a 4-stall barn, and it's the only surviving 4-stall barn in the park at this time.
The cabin is fairly close to the roadside, but there is a short, easy 0.7 mile loop trail through the forest if you want to take it. Unfortunately, the cabin was closed at this time and we could not go in. Our next stop is to go hike to Grotto Falls.
So we're gonna go hike Grotto Falls, which is off the Roaring Fork Motor Nature Trail. It's about 2 miles in from the start of the loop. This hike is to a 20-foot waterfall. You should be able to walk behind the waterfall, which should be really cool. And they use this trail to hike supplies up with llamas to a mountain, and there's a lodge up there that you could hike up to. The Grotto Falls Trail is 2.6 miles round trip. And right now, it's pretty muddy because it just rained all night. That little waterfall.
Yeah, she's gonna talk all the way up the hill.
There are 3 main waterfall hikes along this loop drive. Rainbow Falls, which is the first hike you get to. Grotto Falls, which is the next one. And then Falls of 1,000 Drips. The Rainbow Falls is about a 5.5 mile hike with about 1,700 foot elevation gain. The Grotto Falls is about a 2.5 mile hike with about, I think around 500 foot elevation gain. And the Falls of 1,000 Drips is right off the road. So those are kind of the major famous hikes, and they definitely are popular, and the parking lots fill up really fast. So if you want to do them, I recommend getting there early if you can, so you get a good parking spot. Is that a waterfall? This is Grotto Falls. It is a 20-foot waterfall, and you can walk behind it, which we're gonna go do.
We just had fun behind the waterfall.
Did you go behind the waterfall?
Yeah.
Was that cool? Oh, she's like, I wanna go again. I wanna go again.
You wanna go with Mom?
So that's pretty cool, walking behind the waterfall. You get a little wet, like on your legs if you're really close, but not bad. I spent a little time behind there. It's cool, definitely recommend walking behind it. Yeah, you gotta check this hike out. It's a great hike. It's definitely a little muddy, but I think it's worth it. Now we're gonna head back down.
The hike was great. We went to a waterfall. Sierra had so much fun that she went to sleep on the way back.
Next to the Grotto Falls, we stopped by Alex Cole's house.
This is Alex Cole's cabin. It's a special cabin because he used dovetail joints to make the house and shingles for the roof. He worked for the lumber company.
Our next stop is to Ephraim Bale's cabin.
This is Ephraim Bale's place. It's kind of unusual because it has 2 houses kind of put together with a breezeway. But yeah, it's a pretty little cabin. And then there's a barn in the distance.
Our next stop is to Alfred Reagan's place.
We're currently at Alfred Reagan's place, and this is an unusual place because his place was built out of boards and was painted, and he had his own mill over on the other side. So pretty cool. We're gonna go check it out. This is Alfred's place, and it's the only house in the park that's painted, and it's sawmilled paneling that is painted over. Pretty unusual. Even the inside is painted. Made it all homey and everything. Cupboards and shelving.
Our last stop on Roaring Forks Road is 1,000 Drips Falls.
So this is place of the 1,000 drips. We just had a rain storm yesterday, so it's It's flowing pretty well. Pretty impressive. And it is literally right off the road. There's the road right there. There's parking just to the right of the little drips.
We're leaving the Roaring Fork Loop and now heading to Mingus Mill.
So we're making our way towards Cherokee right now in the Great Smoky Mountains, and this is one of the viewpoints. This is Webb Overlook. We're heading to the Mingus Mill. Yeah, that's pretty cool. For 50 years, nearby farmers brought their corn and wheat to Mingus Mill, built in 1886. Mingus Mill is the largest grist mill in the Smokies. 200 feet long.
Mingus Mill is close to the Oconaluftee Visitor Center. It is still a grist mill in the Smokies that uses water wheel. Our next stop is to the Oconaluftee Visitor Center, which is near the town of Cherokee in North Carolina.
We made it to North Carolina Visitor Center. We're gonna go check out the Visitor Center and an elk. We're excited about the elk. Yes, we're excited about seeing the elk.
The Visitor Center has exhibits on the park's nature, history, culture, as well as a museum gift shop and nature displays. It also offers exhibits on local history and the natural environment and Cherokee culture. The center is designed to be accessible and provides visitors with a comprehensive information about the park's culture and natural history, making it a great starting point to explore the area.
We have the Mountain Museum behind the Visitor Center, and these are old cabins that were moved from inside the park to this area. You say elk? Elk, good job. North Carolina, this field is where a lot of elk are located. So they've relocated a lot of elk into this park because they were pretty much gone from the Great Smoky Mountains, but they used to live here. So they started putting them in this area and they just hang out. They'll be in the fields, in the mountains. We've seen them on our drive up from Tennessee.
The Mountain Farm Museum is a living exhibit that showcases the rich agricultural heritage of the Great Smoky Mountains. The historic farm offers insight into the life and work of early Appalachian settlers in the region. The farm area includes a collection of log and frame buildings that have been preserved or reconstructed to represent a typical working farm from the 19th century and early 20th centuries. This area features over 30 historic buildings that you can walk around and explore. These buildings include a farmhouse, barn, corn cribs, spring house, and other outbuildings used for daily farm life. I hope you enjoyed our visit in the Great Smoky Mountains. Please subscribe below to follow more of our adventures.